Hello and welcome back to Shining Force. Last time we finally reached Runefaust and found out that Darksol has gone to the gate and he's like about to resurrect Dark Dragon. We have to stop him, but King Ramladu of Runefaust has been completely corrupted by Darksol and he's gonna try and stop us, so we have no choice but to fight him and just break through to, I guess, the Castle of the Ancients is where we're going. It's funny, we were told the Castle of the Ancients would rise out of the sea, but it doesn't seem to be in the sea. Also, I forgot to make a copy of the file last time, so... so, if the previous recording fucks up, we can't redo it. The battle involved was very boring, however. So, that's fine. It was mainly just me explaining how I grinded all the characters up, and it was really tough. These guys are now taking a break. Take great care, you're our only hope to be rid of Darksol. But we're not going to help you in any way. So here we are in the castle. Wow, it looks really cool. It has a new tile set. The blue tiles look like lapis lazuli or something. Very mysterious. You again, Ben? How unfortunate for you. Now I must be off to summon. Every time we meet Darksol, he's like, oh, you breathed your last. And then he's like, also I have to go. And then he just leaves. He could literally have killed us right there. He's like, now I must be off to summon Dark Dragon. But don't worry, someone is waiting for you. King Ramladu will serve my purposes one last time, then I will have no need for him. I must be going. Do enjoy your meeting with Ramladu. Dark Dragon arises soon. You know, it took us a while to get here. We had to like walk all the way across the mountains and stuff. So this guy has just been lazing about. He could have summoned Dark Dragon ages ago, and he's just been sitting around waiting to make this speech. Darksol probably could have taken over the world ages ago if he was a little more motivated. He needs to just, you know, he needs to get out there and really work hard. If he fails, I'm gonna say it's basically completely his fault. King Ramladu's sprite is actually really cool. He looks intense. Long have I waited for this moment, Ben. Prepare to meet your death. Why have you been waiting for this moment? Do you even know us? I don't think you do. But yeah, so we're getting to the epic final battles here. So we have a brand new tile set and we have some brand new monsters. So we've got two chests over here. So I'll have to grab those. I don't know what these things are. Maybe just like pillars. But basically, this is just a big open room and we just have to fight our way through to the end. So it's gonna actually be a bit tough because there's nothing to stagger the enemies approaching us. There's nothing that'll slow them down. There's not things for us to hide behind. It's just gonna be a wave of monsters. So we have these chimeras, which are new. They're basically the upgraded versions of the Cerberus. I think we fought an enemy named Chimera earlier in the game, so it's like an upgrade of that. They're quite tough. We have loads of them too. This place is covered in them. Well, we were told to slow monsters. We have more of these night dudes. We also have the blue dragon. Which I'm looking at its map sprite, but it seems like they also have multiple heads, so they might be more like a Hydra. More of these horseman guys, more of the skeletons, and one healer. Oh, two healers, and more of the chimeras. So it's basically just a ton of monsters. We're in for a tough fight. I guess we'll start out slow here. Let some of the monsters come to us, maybe. Because I don't want us to, or go backwards. I don't want us to overextend so far that, like, our units get surrounded by those guys and killed. Someone has to get these chests, so I'll send people over. We'll take this battle nice and slow. Okay, we have one enemy that broke off from the rest, so we can target them first. We have a lot of squishies. Honestly, I set my party up in a way that kind of makes the game harder, because I'm using all of the mages. So we have a lot of squishies, and we have to sort of regulate their MP properly. And not use it all up right away. So that's that's like more of the knights. We could just go in and smash everybody, but we have to be cautious. I just really enjoy using the mages though. I just think they're fun. And like, you know, with games like this where you can choose your party members, I always think it's more fun to win with your favorites. That's just my own personal feeling. I'm looking for someone who has empty space in their inventory. Does he even? He has one space. Somebody must. Well, I guess our mages do. They're new. I've never gotten around to like throwing out items, so we don't have a lot of inventory space. I tend to be a bit of a pack rat when it comes to gaming. I just keep all the items. Very nice double attack, Silo. But like, you'd probably do more damage if instead of just summoning the spirits of the wolves, you just attack them with the claws on your hands. I'm just saying. I think that would be a good strategy. Just a thought. The battle's mostly gonna be slow because I gotta send people to grab the chests, and we basically have to go back because they're sort of enclosed. They're in little rooms on their own, so we have to go there and then walk backward. I'm just gonna go whole hog here. She has so much MP now, I really love it. She can just use Blaze 4 very frequently. And like, we're facing enemies now that have enough HP that that's not a one-hit KO. He has more move than Aleph, so I'm gonna have him grab for the other chest actually. But that's fine, she can easily, you know, finish off weakened enemies and she can weaken them for other friends. A deadly attack, man. Ben is so good now. He is close to the level cap, to be fair. This map is kind of tricky because there's, in a way, because it's so simple, there's not like terrain to use or anything. We just kind of have to walk forwards and hope we don't get overwhelmed. I'd like to get my mages close enough to unleash some multi-target stuff, but obviously we don't want to send them so far ahead of other guys that they get injured because they're squishier. Yeah, so like the Chimera enemies and the Cerberus enemies, it has a special attack in addition to its basic attack, and it does a lot more damage. I think they actually they do fixed damage. They're similar to magic in that way, where they're ignoring your defense. Maybe these guys use it more frequently though, compared to the Chimeras and Cerberus that used it a bit less often. We're at the part of the game now where I literally have no idea. I don't remember. I don't remember any of this. It's a blank, so I don't know how these enemies work or anything. The backgrounds, the battle backgrounds, they're kind of cool too. They definitely, I like the little torch and stuff, like it gives it kind of, the lighting is really nice. It's like the mysterious, dangerous castle we're going through. The halls are haunted by monsters as we're trying to get to the king. It gives it a cool feeling. The art direction in this game overall, as I've said many times before, is really nice. Even though, alas, the promoted sprites, I mean, I just think he should be wearing pants. Like, the thing is, either he should have pants or he should have nothing. You know, it's... The problem with animal characters is that when you partially dress them, it just draws attention to the clothes they're not wearing. Whereas if you had no clothes, you'd be like, they're animals, of course they don't wear clothes. Whereas when you have them like wearing some clothes but conspicuously missing basic things like pants, you're just like, so is that guy just going around with no pants? It just seems really noticeable. Especially since Xylo, he's not even like a, you know, an animal. He's in a world where half animal, half human beings are common, and most of them are wearing clothing. So it's not like it's not like the Donald Duck situation where all of them are half-dressed cartoon animals. Oh no, they're halberd, that's nice. Although, we only have one character using spears and she's using the best one in the game, so... Oh, the Atlas, this is a really good axe that we're not gonna use. Because I only use mages. But yeah, like, cause, you know, all of the Disney characters are mostly half-dressed cartoon animals, so you're like, sure. Oh man, that weapon is awesome. That's the new Buster Shot we got. It appears to be a laser, and it did so much. Dang. Holy shit. The Chimeras, I think, may have slight magic resistance, so that's why our spells are not doing as much as they usually do, I think. We're chipping them down slowly, though. They have a lot of HP as well, so it's a process. But yeah, whereas in this game, like, Chris is wearing all her clothes. The birds, like, they actually are wearing, like, little leggings, I think. They have clothes. You know, you have the mage, Aleph, the fox person has clothes. So it's like Xylo, you don't have an excuse. And he wore pants before he promoted. I realize I'm still talking about his pants, but I'm like, it looks dumb. It's not just that it's weird, it's also stupid looking. He's wearing armor on the sides of his legs, but nothing on his actual legs. That's stupid. It looks silly. Oh, side note about, speaking of promotions looking a bit different, one thing I noticed that's interesting is that Aleph, prior to promotion, I didn't show any of this, because, you know, I didn't film any of the grinding and I hadn't used her prior to that. She has a blue mage hood and, like, a yellow robe, but once she promoted, her outfit is completely green. So, the other two mages, like, their promotion color schemes are different, but they're at least related to their original ones. They basically just... the colors got a little darker. For Henri, they got more, like, saturated. Whereas for her, they just completely changed. When she promoted, she was like, I'm tired of this wizard outfit. I'm gonna switch. Possibly she realized that blue and yellow clash. She was like, this is irritating to look at. Who just got the most injured? Bringing healers is tough because, like, she's not even that short of, MP or anything, but she has plenty, but it's just like your healing spells don't do that much, except for the top one, which costs so much. Maybe we should have bought more items, but then I would have had to dig through all my items and sort them out, and I did not want to, because it would have been boring. That's really the only reason. And these chimeras are very tough. Whoa, it dodged! Oh no. And there's a lot of them. We've chewed our way through quite a few of them now, but they're tough enemies. So this is probably, I think this battle is gonna probably take up, wow, seriously, more dodging? It's probably gonna take up most of the episode just because the individual enemies take a lot of hits each, it seems like. So this will probably be a bit of a process. Sorry if it gets kind of boring. I guess you can enjoy listening to the background music of the game. The game does have pretty good music, I think. I like its chiptune style. Oh, we'll finally be able to kill it pretty soon. I'm not gonna Ben kill it though, because he doesn't need the extra X for anything. See, it's hard to get out of these because you have to go all the way back, so. But they'll wait here until they catch up, I guess, basically. And they'll be right. Whoa! This Chimera has dodged 3 different attacks. It is bonkers. This should take it out though. Okay. There we go. There we go. Very nice. Henri fell behind Tao a little because I was using Tao more. Because Blaze does less damage, it made it easier to chip enemies down. Who's the most injured? Oh, we have quite a lot of injuries, but he's actually still pretty injured. Well, let's heal up May. She's gonna be out of MP, like, so soon. This battle has enough enemies and they do enough damage that I might consider bringing in a second healer. Oh, nice. Grab Low. Or Karasu. Or Torasu, rather, sorry. I can't remember his name because I just don't really remember him as a character. He's not very interesting and I don't use him. So he has a bit of the out of sight, out of mind problem. Or it's like, that guy who was boring, what's his name? I want to be careful approaching these guys because there are a lot of enemies stacked up here. And if they all swarmed 1 or 2 characters, you know, that would be pretty dangerous, so. Have to very cautiously approach. Okay, let's get in the first. The 3 range is nice to sort of get in the first. Yeah, they look more like Hydras in a way. Well, not Hydras, they have 3. They don't have enough heads, but they're not exactly normal dragons. They're different from blue. But that lets us kind of get in an initial attack on an enemy, which can sometimes help lure them out once you start hitting them. These things have a ton of HP too, although with a deadly attack she would have actually one-shot. The Valkyrie is such a good weapon. It's ridiculous. I love it. Hopefully these two will catch up eventually, but I wanted the stuff in the chest, so you know it's worth it. The AI can be so hard to predict at times. Like, I don't know which of these enemies, if any, will approach and attack us, that I'm like, oh, it makes me super cautious. Because the enemies are hard to kill. Oh, very good. I like that the horsemen, they do a lot of damage, they hit really hard, but they're also really fragile, so they're kind of like a really interesting, like, glass cannon type enemy. It's nice not to have every enemy be identical, you know? Although it's weird that in spite of their 3 range, they did not attack Xylo there. I don't get this AI. There's not really a specific boss enemy here that I can see, so I'm kind of like, we may as well use magic throughout the fight. There's nothing to save it for, so, you know. This should definitely this dragon. I mean, it's like you hope this sword is good against dragons, right? Because otherwise we're in trouble against Dark Dragon. I need to stop yelling so much because I'm occasionally clipping my mic. And wow, that was crazy. Why did they put the Buster Shot in the game? Because the archers were already strong. It was not necessary, and it makes them really broken. It's like, holy shit, and it has 3 range, so it doesn't even have, like, a penalty ranged. It's ridiculous. I like the animation, too. I like the idea that we're just shooting a gigantic laser, because that's really cool. And it suits the steampunkiness of this game. And, like, this town is, like, connected to the Ancients, so it makes sense that they have, like, you know, ancient technology type weapons for sale. Also, I thought Metafa was a town we were going to because it was mentioned so many times, but I'm guessing it was actually just that little cave of robots underneath the castle, which we did go through like a teleporter to get there, so I guess it was in a different place, but apparently it was in ruins and there was nothing to see. So once upon a time, apparently Metafa was like a town of the robots or something. Which I'm sad we didn't get to see in-game because that sounds extremely cool. But Adam is the only member left, apparently, of the robots, and he's not that great. So, you know, he's not really doing his people proud here. You gotta hope... Well, he's an ancient robot. Maybe, like, he needs a tune-up, but there's no one around who knows how to give it. So, you know, maybe he was better back in the day. Oh, I wish she was a little closer. She could target all of them. Might as well start in on this armed skeleton. Another enemy that's, like, metal as hell. It's so badass. The game gets a little weird towards the end. I mean, it was weird to start, I realized, but it, like, really goes all out. Because we have, like, a medieval king being manipulated by an evil general who's summoning a magic dragon, and the king is being defended by skeletons with guns! I've said it before, but literally, I just find it so delightful that the game has all these weird, like, schizotech mashup type things. This is a game that is truly not shy about just straight up handing your characters weird futuristic weaponry. It's funny, I was running an adventure for my D&D group recently. It's a rewrite of an old adventure, so not to get into too much detail, but they were searching these ancient catacombs, and one of the catacombs, it's like of a guy apparently claiming to be a time traveler, and oh, we got another Atlas axe, so I guess we have 2 of them, so if we ever want to use our gladiators again, now we can. They'll have the very best weapon, so that's nice. But anyway, in his tomb, one of the items they can find is a gun. It's a musket, like with powder and all that, but it's still kind of funny to me. It's just like, you're in this D&D adventure in like an ancient magic castle, and one of the items you find is a gun. That's the treasure. Also, as I said to my friends at the time, I was like, you can tell that this adventure is written by Americans because when people were like, what sort of treasure should we put in the evil magic castle that these wizards and knights are going to be exploring? They were like, I think one of the treasures should be a gun. It's like, that made sense to them. That's very American. Oh, this battle is taking a while. That gun is so weird. I mean, in a way, it makes sense to me that it does, like, a little more damage, I think, than their regular attack. But in another way, I'm like, shouldn't it just kill Xylo? He's wearing, like, these are people from the medieval times wearing armor meant to defend swords. So I feel like a gun should just straight up kill them. Especially, like, that's not like an old-timey musket. That's like a mini Gatling gun, literally, like a little machine gun. And like, but then one of my characters is firing a laser, so I mean, I just don't even know. It's a little strange. And meanwhile, this skeleton who fires a gun is being defeated by a bird with a sword. So it's like, and hitting him with a sword did about as much damage as him shooting us with a gun. So it's so strange. It just makes no sense. And I realize it's like, that's how video games work, you know? Like obviously all the different points that it does and stuff are arbitrary to make the gameplay work. They're not supposed to be realistic. So I'm aware of that, but it still is really funny to me that it's just the randomness of like which things damage and which don't. So I am gonna go right ahead and, I clicked the wrong thing. Okay, I'm gonna use our Bolt 3 because we can get all of them in it pretty easily. And honestly, it does a lot. It does more, I would say, on average, definitely more than Blaze 3, and generally more than Freeze 3 too. So it's good. Because I saw some stuff when I was looking at the different characters online. It was like, there's no point using Alep because she's not as good as the other mages because Bolt's not as good. And it's true that, like, I think the level 4 version is not as strong as, like, Freeze 4. But there's so many parts in these levels where you have large numbers of enemies and you just want to do the crowd control thing. You know, you just want to kind of knock down the numbers. And she's so useful for that. So I don't know why people were like, don't use her. She seems really good. Maybe it depends on, like, your strategy, because admittedly, I wouldn't want to use her as the only mage, because having access particularly to Freeze 4 lets you do single target damage so easily, which is great. So maybe it's just because I personally happen to be playing this game with, like, an all-mage party. I don't wanna just, like, use literally all the magic we have and just, like, waste all of our MP, because I'm not sure whether the actual battle with the king is a separate battle on a new map, or if we just get to go to the top part of the map and we keep our current, like, damage and MP and stuff. I have no idea. Due to not remembering this level at all. It's kind of nice that for this big final dungeon part, they have a new tile set. It definitely helps it feel more like, oh, we're really in this mysterious, you know, cast ancients and fighting our final battle. That's a little gravitas. I don't know why all the walls have a yellow stripe around the bottom though. It like in the battle background it makes a little more sense because it looks like it's a different kind of stone, so it's like the cap and base. But on the map it just looks like they've painted caution stripes everywhere, like so people don't trip or something. It's a little weird. Is that the best you can do? Well, meet my robots, weaklings. Again, this is why I love this game a lot and why. And I would guess part of why it is, there's a lot of nostalgia for it enough to put it in this Genesis collection. What was a memorable series, because we're in an ancient castle trying to stop the resurrection of an evil magic dragon, and we're fighting him. An evil king. The threat is that he's going to attack us with robots. That's what's literally happening right now. Oh, all of those things. That's what those things were. Oh, dang. Oh, but we just, well, I guess it would have been shitty to just spring it on us because you're not ready, but yeah, I guess. Oh, this is kind of cool, too, because it's like, the king took us by surprise, and now we're trapped between his robot army and him. So that's cool. What is this thing? I feel like something's gonna appear on it maybe. Like maybe after the battle in a cutscene. And there's like a statue over here. So let's check out King Ramladu. Oh, interesting. He has aura. So he has healing magic. So he'll be able to heal himself, but I guess also his robot army. So, wow, because I didn't remember him at all, when I saw him on the map, I thought that thing he was holding was like a mace. I thought he was a melee fighter, because most of the bosses we fought have either been melee fighters or they've been wizards. So this is really interesting because he's, you know, kind of a major endgame boss, and he's actually a cleric. He's using the Holy Staff. He's a really buff cleric. He has 93 attack, which is the most we've seen thus far in the entire game, and he has 99 HP. And he's a healer with as much MP as he wants, apparently. So, he's gonna be really... And he has 40 defense. He's gonna be really, really hard to kill, but that's so interesting. Because we haven't had a cleric, like, major boss fight yet. In a way, I'm like, gotta say MP, but I'm also like, either we're gonna kill the boss pretty quickly or we're gonna die, because he's gonna hit so hard. So we may as well use some spells here. The grinding we did really paid off because we can one-shot a lot of these robots now. We have so much MP, basically, that we can afford to. But this was definitely a cool twist where, like, we fight our way through this castle and there's all these monsters and it's like, what are these things? Are they just decorations? Are they, like, pillars holding up the ceiling? They were secretly robots! Surprise robot attack! Oh, this game is great. Like, it's an old game and I'm not saying it doesn't have its flaws. It does. But it's also very cool in a lot of ways. You know, why not? I'm gonna have her attack this robot because whatever. Now, if we retreat, I wonder if we have to fight through the first half of the battle again or if we just go straight back to this. I actually don't know. Hopefully we'll not find that out. We'll just go straight through this part too, because it's only been half an hour, so hopefully we can push through this and do the entire, like, King Ramladu, both halves of this fight in this one episode. Man, that is close to the level cap here. He has so much HP too, he's really broken. I'm trying to remember, like, how difficult the final boss actually is, because I'm like, is the level of damage we could... Is like his power level even remotely needed right now? Or... like... in a way, I kind of feel like it's gonna be overkill. But maybe not. I don't remember the final fight. So much. You can... I think this was also a good spot to point out how Freeze 4 does a lot more than Blaze 4. The freeze spell line is stronger overall. Yeah, I'll just have her finish off that one. So, like, Tao's, not that Tao's spell isn't useful, obviously it is, but it's more like, it can kill off these enemies that don't have a lot of HP but have a lot of defense, so it's useful for that, and obviously it does a big chunk of damage, so not knocking it, but Freeze 4 is definitely more of an encounter-ending spell. For some enemies like the Chimeras obviously have so much HP that it won't one-shot them, but it is a lot stronger. And it's really good against bosses. I'm not going to be surprised if King Ramladu has some magic resistance. It would seem like he's a pretty major boss, and a lot of them seem to have little resistance to, like, they reduce magic damage. But my hope is that, like, we have two different enemies who can use freeze. We have two different, or not enemies, units rather, who can use freeze 4. So that alone, hopefully, will be like 70 to 80 damage. And then between the rest of us, hopefully we'll be able to just knock him out real fast. She's not in range to do a lot right now, but next turn. Just gotta... The torch eyes here are a little more dangerous because they have that attack that does like 20 damage fixed, which is a lot. The robot arms, they do have an alternate attack, like their special move, which is a laser, but they don't use it every time. So, you know, the other guys will definitely do that much damage every time. And their normal attack, we've got tanky enough units now that we'll be okay. Well, this is gonna do a lot. Even the torch eye, when we first ran into it, it could basically kill everything everyone we had in 2 hits. Now, our units have a lot more HP because we've been training. And they're all, like, super high level. Man, imagine how cool this battle is, though. King Ramladu, like, summons his robot army and he thinks they're gonna crush us, but then, like, our wizards and knights and werewolves and all of us just, like, beat these robots into malfunctioning just really easily. I'm surprised he doesn't just, like, give up from intimidation after seeing us shred his robo army. Because seriously, how badass is that? That we're just like, whatever. Screw your robots, we don't care. Ben should be able to just finish this guy off. It's so nice having a character who basically just one-shots everything. And he's the main character, so it's like, we're forced to bring him along, but at least you'd definitely be doing so anyway. The only time when it's annoying is when we're trying to train weaker units, because it's like, when he was that, like, I had this problem when I was grinding everyone where I was like, I wish I could swap him out because he's getting so over-leveled, but you can't. But at the same time, it's kind of nice to have him over-leveled, because if he does lose the game, you know, you get a game over, you lose the mission. So it's nice to have him strong enough that it's hard for him to die. Alright, we're wrapping up these robots nicely. I don't know if there's more reinforcements in addition or if it's just him after this, so we're gonna have to remain cautious here. He seems to be a boss that just sits on his throne, so I guess he's like waiting for us. I actually wish he would walk over to us because that way it will save me time. I won't have to walk all the way up there. The part of this game I don't like is having to wait and walk across the map slowly. Will this do enough damage? I'm trying to remember whether this does full damage on these robots. Ah, we're really close. I thought that would do enough. I guess I'll send him up. He can't reach any of them anyway. Who needs healing? We took some damage. This boss honestly has, with 90 attack, even our tankiest characters, with a lot of HP, we're really gonna have to kill him fast. Like, healing, there's a limit to how much help it's gonna be. This is the most powerful enemy we've faced so far. And he's just gonna hit like a truck. So we're definitely gonna have to try and just blast him down super fast. It's gonna be hard, but I'm hoping we can beat this boss pretty quickly. Good job, May. We've got some pretty powerful characters at this point. We got plenty of magic, so, you know, fingers crossed. We may lose some characters, but the main tricky part is that Ben is by far our strongest melee fighter, so it's like, I definitely want to have him in there attacking, but if he dies, we game over, so I have to be careful. Okay, we're gonna start heading up. This is the boring part of the fight where we're just walking from place to place. And that is, honestly, I would say, my main complaint about this game is the amount of time that a lot of maps make you spend waiting. On the outdoor maps, that's because the terrain makes you really slow, so it takes forever to get places. But even on the indoor maps, there's quite a lot that have these parts where there are different groups of enemies on different parts of the map, and it just takes you quite a while to get from one part to the other, which is not very interesting. So I would say that's honestly, because it's a part of the game that's not that engaging, right? You're just kind of sitting there being like, well, gotta do that eventually, you know, gotta get there. And I realize that there's a limit to how much that can be helped because, you know, you obviously don't want everything on top of each other. It's nice to have the map have distinct sections where you do different stuff. That does make it interesting, but it would just be nice if this was like a little closer by. For the outdoor maps, it's just like, stop using so much terrain. Like, it's like, by not too far into the game, it's every map outdoors is like that, and it's. And it might be one of those things where they were like, this will help with the character balance because certain characters are, you know, have an easier time moving over terrain than others. But I think the problem is that A, those characters are already the best characters. Huh, so in his portrait, in his battle sprite, he does kind of look like he's wielding some sort of melee weapon. Huh. Even though he technically is not. But his art kind of looks like... Yeah, I was right. It's a mace. He has a giant mace, which is what his map sprite looks like. It's just not mechanically that, I guess, in the game. Well, I guess he's kind of, you know, in this game, like, the healer weapons are all staves, but I guess he's kind of going with the trope. Like, this is definitely a thing in D&D where healers use, like, maces and clubs and stuff. So I guess he's supposed to evoke that. Like, he's like a battle cleric. And he's healing himself. This is our first time seeing Aura. The animation of him healing is so strange because it looks like he's attacking. But I'm assuming he's like a battle cleric, basically. Oh, this is really tough because he can recover HP every turn, so we're kind of like trying to dash him down, but he's fast enough that it's hard for us to get our turns sufficiently rapidly. This is tricky. We also haven't got Ben in there yet. He'll do a lot of damage, assuming we can fit him. I guess I'll have her use... We haven't tried Bolt 4 yet, so let's see how much damage it actually does. I haven't used it, so I don't know. I didn't even use it. Well, we just got it in the other battle, so I haven't used it all yet. Yeah, so it does... I would honestly say it does a little more than Blaze 4, a little less than Freeze 4. It's in the middle. It does close to the same amount as Blaze 4, but the thing is it costs twice as much. So... Yeah, like it is, yes, it is worse because it's so expensive. Honestly, what I would say is that Freeze 4 is absurdly cheap given its... Oh, that wasn't bad at all. Oh, because this was a deadly attack. Great job, Xylo. But you could see how the level 4 spells really helped because they did such a big amount of damage. And May, with the Valkyrie, also could do so much damage. I'm dying, but my mind is once more my own. Darksol was controlling me. We've seen so many people now who are like, I wasn't evil, I was being controlled, but I still recall General Elliot being like, Darksol, you know, swayed him by saying he would be able to rule the world if he did this, and I'm like, again, if what convinces you to turn evil is being told you'll rule the world, you already were a bit evil. You know, now that I'm actually looking at the sprite work in the behind the throne, that thing that's, it looks like it's a window and we're, like, seeing, some sort of fresco or mural behind it. It almost looks like some ancient Middle Eastern architecture types. I don't know where like it's not clear how far apart Guardiana and Runefaust are, that there could be like a totally different architecture type. But I wonder if that's the idea here, to evoke that like a long way, so the style of things is actually different from back home. Like we've crossed the world. I wonder. But anyway. You must stop Darksol. If he frees Dark Dragon, all of Rune is doomed. He has gone to the gate to summon the castle from the depths of the sea. Go. So where is this? Because we went to the castle of Runefaust, where Mahado was. But where is this place? It's just another castle? Ben, Darksol has already entered the Castle of the Ancients. You must hurry. I found a secret passage to the gate. It is in the entry hall of this castle. Return to town and make your final preparations, then take the passage. So basically, we're at the end of the game. So for our robot buddy, that makes the battle we got him, that outdoor battle, even if we count these as two different battles, which mechanically they are. You know, we had our HP restored, and the final battle maybe has, if it has two parts, you get him for like 5 or 6 battles, and he requires so much grinding. So yeah, it's like, why is he in this game? It seems silly. It's only been 40 minutes, so let's save the game, and then let's at least take a look at wherever we're going next. We'll take a peek. Yeah, even though it hasn't been that long, I do have to take a break here soon because I have to, like, make dinner and stuff. Oh, I meant to actually continue. Okay, let's... You can see the inner workings of the Sega Genesis, collection. The weird thing in this game is that once you quit the game, it doesn't just take you back to the start screen. Like most games when you quit take you back to the title screen. I think, actually now that I think about it, as I discovered it like last episode when I just talked for a really long time at the end of the episode, what I discovered was that if you wait a long enough time on the ending screen, eventually you do actually come back to the the start here. But it's a fair amount of waiting. It doesn't just instantly go, which is weird. There's nothing else really for us to prepare. I guess we could buy healing items, but I'm like, I don't feel like it. I just want to go. I want to play the game. Here it is. It's the secret stairs. That's what Nova was doing during the battle. Oh, so this is just an auxiliary castle, I guess. And this must be the Castle of the Ancients. It definitely looks pretty ancient. And I'll say, it looks similar to, if I'm remembering right, the place we were at the very start of the game. The other gate, when we fought to defend that. That's what it looks like. Nothing is found. Maybe I have to use the Chaos Breaker? Maybe I have to use the Orb of Light? I'm assuming there's a way in here. Or maybe it'll happen when we try to leave. Let's try to leave. I'm assuming, like, then, you know, something will happen. Or not? And what am I supposed to do here? There doesn't seem to be a way past the gate. I searched it. I tried using the plot items. Maybe I have to go back and talk to Mahado? I'm assuming there must be someone in town we have to talk to. Because Nova was like, go back to town and make your final preparations, so probably there's something we have to do. We should also check what Nova's advice is, because I'm like, sure it'll be so helpful. Darksol is really strong. That's probably the caliber of advice. Ben, you have defeated King Ramladu, but a far greater task awaits. Darksol has sealed the Gate of the Ancients behind him, I see, but there is another way. Use the Chaos Breaker at the westernmost point of the continent. There's a legend. The Chaos Breaker can raise the Castle of the Ancients out of the depths of the sea. The gate will then open. Oh, I kind of remember someone telling us that legend, like, I think it was Kryn, in the one where the town was ruled by children. She was the kid who was, like, researching this stuff in the basement. I think she told us something like that. It was ages ago, so I don't remember, but... Okay, what's your advice, Nova? Do not exhaust yourselves here. Use egress to retreat from overwhelming odds. Well, I mean... Nova, we're at, like, the final boss of the game. If I didn't know that by now, I don't know how I would have gotten this far. Also, the picture... Maybe it's just me, like, the way my TV is working, but the picture seems to be... The game seems to be lagging a little. The image is, like, not... The screen is not refreshing fast enough. That's not what I meant to do. But we'll be wrapping this up. So we'll need to go, like, right here. And this is where we use the Chaos Breaker. So, I guess the castle and the gate must be connected, like, underground somehow. Because otherwise, how would that gate lead in there? Also, the castle is very futuristic. So I guess this is just confirming it was made by the Ancients. The Ancients are, like, technologically advanced precursor civilization, basically. Like, they really, really are. Full-on sci-fi here. At last, Ben, the Castle of the Ancients. The end is near for good or ill. None shall pass Colossus, the eternal sentinel. Leave now. So I think the idea with this guy... Colossus, I've heard of it in legends. Ben, they are attacking. You've heard of it in legends, but, you know, maybe tell us what you've heard of? But anyway, I think the deal with that guy is basically he's like a robot or like a cyborg or something that the Ancients created to guard the castle. But he thinks we're his enemy now. Oh, and they're gonna be really hard to kill. I see, each of them has one of the level 3 spells. Ironically, the one with the bolt will be the hardest because it'll hit so many of us. How much HP do they have? They have a fair amount of HP. So let's take a peek at the map, and then we'll leave the battle for next time, because it looks like it's going to be a long battle, because this is a quite large map. Yeah, so we have, like, different sections of the sides and on the top. Let's, I guess, go through it bit by bit. A unique tile set for this. I'm assuming these are supposed to look vaguely like some kind of magic-y, computer-y thingies in a vague way. So we have more of those dragons. They actually fly, so they may come to us. We've got the chimeras. I don't think... Well, they must fly because they're an isolated landmass. Yeah, so I guess they'll come to us. We got more of these guys. And you can see this looks like metal with rivets in it. but it's still got magical runes on the walls. So that's the interesting thing about this game. It has like ancient technology and stuff, but it's not one of those games where like magic turns out to actually be technological, like it just wasn't understood. Magic is also real. It's like they were wizards and they also invented robots. They're just both true. So I guess basically we have to come up the center, then we kind of wrap around. And there's a lot of choke points. We're going to have to go up some narrow bridges, so that's going to be a little frustrating. And then ultimately we'll have to kill these guys. That's going to be really tough, and this map will definitely take a while. So for now, we'll try and get to Ben's turn. Should I bring more of my flyers? Well, I'm using everyone who can fly except Kokichi. So I think the one I'd swap out would be Xylo at this point. But we've brought him with us so far. I think I'll keep him. And if the map is super, super hard, we can always swap Kokichi in. So for now, we've gotten a peek at the map where I think after this we basically go into the final fight with Darksol and we fight Dark Dragons. So we're in like the final battle sequence of the game. There's no more towns to my memory. This is it. We've come all this way and we're at the end of the game. It didn't even take that long. Honestly, I would have been done with this much faster if I hadn't done the grinding. But I wanted to at least be able to show off everyone's stats, I guess. Not that I'm not planning to like use them in battle to show them off like in a video because it would take a long time, and also I'm still probably not going to post this anywhere. This is just learning to use the equipment. So like, why bother? But yeah, we're at the end of the game, and I think there's maybe 2 or 3 battles left. I don't remember how the game splits it all up. So we're finally gonna defeat Darksol and fight Dark Dragon and seal him away. Our journey has been long, but we've reached the end. So next time, we'll face the end of our journey. Until then, goodbye Simone and goodbye viewers. This has been Shining Force.